Chris, I wanted to get your reaction to something that we played earlier. This was a Trump supporter talking to NBC in North Carolina.
What do you think of Nikki Haley? Did you ever consider her?
What I got to say, you don't really want to put it on.
Let me hear it.
Well, the woman's not going to be a good president. She don't have no scratch. She's just going to scratch her head. All the woman's good for in my book is having babies and taking care of the house. But that's the old thing, but I'm old school.
So you never even considered her?
No.
Mainly because she's a woman?
Because she's female. I mean, females, don't take me wrong, females know what they're doing, but they still got to have a little bit of guidance. Trump would be the one to guide her.
And that's like how it is in the newsroom, right? Yeah, I know there's a couple women who work in there, and you're having to guide them, Chris.
What are you talking about? Don't drag me into that.
Chris, what do you think, though? What do you think?
Yeah, only good for making babies and sandwiches.
Yeah, well, obviously, that's...
It's a hot take, isn't it? It's a hot take.
Chris, you're not really coming down on this guy at all. I'm a little concerned.
Well,
you should be outraged.
Yeah. Well, there's really not much to say. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory,
But do you believe what he's saying?
I mean, that's an old school take.
It's an old school take.
Sure.
Yeah.
Pretty out of date, I'd say.
It's an old school, back in the 1970s.
Yeah, I mean,
what about
1770s, like Governor Kristi Noem? I mean, Carrie Lake. We have all these other female leaders.
Well, no, they're good.
They're not legit.
No, they're legit, but they need Trump's guidance in order to...
Yeah. I guess
they can't be president.
Yeah, Chris,
president.
Come on. Maybe vice president.
They got to pop out babies, too.
Yeah. All right,
That's true. Yeah, that takes up a lot of time.
Let's get to today's top stories now. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. So Super Tuesday was super boring, but it was significant in the sense that we pretty much have the end of the primaries and the beginning of the presidential race between the two frontrunners. However, it also means the end of South Carolina Governor and UN Ambassador Nikki Haley's campaign. I know.
Didn't see that one coming.
It's shocking. It's stunning. We're all just in disbelief this morning. But she didn't do well in Super Tuesday.
Because
Can you believe that?
A woman.
You said it. She did win Vermont, which is the first time a woman has won a state primary in the Republican side.
It's a big deal, Chris. Vermont is no small feat.
No.
Sorry, I almost got through that without laughing.
So
what'd you say earlier? You can't even see it on the map.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the map, where is that state, and how many people are there?
Somewhere up there.
Yeah. No, Dana knows that state.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah. I do actually.
Yeah. Good people up there.
There are. I actually looked at colleges up there, and I was like, no, it's way too far away.
Yeah,
in the middle of nowhere.
So Vermont and Washington D.C. It's a good. It's a good sample of America.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the primary results, I mean, and look, Joe Biden lost American Samoa. So,
big upset to some guy named Jason Palmer, who we're all hearing about for the first time today. So.
But the margins were just ridiculous, 50, 60, 70-point margins in some of these primaries. So, the race for the nomination is pretty much all but over. Mm-hmm. It's just a formality at this point, and Trump should probably clinch it in the next major series of primaries, and I think Biden a little bit after that.
Yeah, and it's good because, now this gives us a little bit longer to figure out who we're going to vote for between Biden and Trump. So many people just undecided. There's so many unknowns about the two of them. So.
And such popular candidates, too.
Extremely
I mean, people
popular.
are really excited about this race.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be interesting. Now,
I was talking to, was it Rory that we were talking to earlier? So DeSantis, I noticed he's got like 8 delegates. What do you do? Can you like at Dave & Buster's, can you turn those in for a prize or something like that? Nikki Haley's got a few. How do you cash those in?
I guess he'll be like one of the keynote speakers at the convention or something.
That's what you get?
I remember when remember Ron Paul got a bunch of delegates, and his folks were just, screaming mad that he didn't get like a major a position on the stage during the convention. But yeah, that's the extent of it. I mean, you might be able to voice some of your ideas at the Republican convention, but I don't even know if DeSantis will even go at this point.
Do we think, well, first of all, Nikki Haley is going to drop out at 10 a.m. this morning in Charleston, South Carolina. She's going to deliver a speech. She's not going to endorse Trump. She's going to say that Trump needs to earn her support by earning the support of her voters, Republicans and independents who voted for her. Do we think that there's any chance she ends up as the vice president on the Trump ticket?
No, I don't think so.
I'm looking at it from two different perspectives here. On the one hand, I could see Trump going with somebody who's just been loyal to him, like a Kristi Noem or, somebody like, or Tim Scott, although he's been a little too loyal lately. He's like, a
too
little puppy
loyal?
running around, following Trump everywhere. But then I could also see if Trump wants to win, if just winning is the priority, Nikki Haley bringing in, maybe helping bring in some of that part of the Republican Party that's a little disaffected by Trump. Could that solidify some things for him? And look, we know Trump loves when you've got somebody who's gone against him and then they bend the knee. I mean,
he called her a bird brain. Like, why would she want to go run with him? I mean,
well, he's called them all something, and they all wind up backing him at some point. So, and for Trump, he could say, well, she was a bird brain then, but she's not now, I guess.
Right, yeah.
And everybody would be like, all right.
Work?
Yeah.
I think he has to be somebody that Trump trusts, first of all. And second of all, it can't be anybody that would in any way outshine him. And so, I think really Nikki Haley's way too glamorous for Trump. I don't think that, she's
definitely her own entity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't see him choosing somebody like that.
No, he needs somebody who he can guide.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. What else we got going
I see.
on?
Oh, by the way, I think Marianne Williamson's doubling her resolve to continue her race based on her performance on the Democratic side.
Dean Phillips won a county somewhere yesterday.
That's
so
some good momentum for him.
And he's thinking things over, so he's not out just yet.
So that's the state of the race. And
Yeah.
of course, we'll hear the official word from Nikki Haley at 10 o'clock. The National Transportation Safety Board issued a report. That's not the story we wanted. Didn't we do that last time?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you need me to guide you?
Chris, you need
Yes.
Dana to guide
Yes, I
you?
need Dana to guide me because, us men can't keep track of where we are. So Meta owned Facebook and Instagram back up Tuesday after a 2-hour outage caused by a technical issue that impacted hundreds of thousands of users around the world. The disruption started around 10 a.m., many users saying on the rival media platform X they had been booted off Facebook and Instagram, couldn't log in. The White House National Security Council monitored the incident. They didn't see any malicious cyber activity involved with this. At the peak of the outage, 550,000 reports of disruptions and about 92,000 for Instagram.
Isn't that so emblematic of the state of this country that, social media networks go down and we don't say, all right, I'll take a break from all that for a second. It's no, let's go on the other social media network site and bitch about the social media networks that are down.
Right. Well, I went just to make sure that it wasn't something with my phone or my Facebook account because I tried to click on Facebook and what it did was it didn't just not work. It signed you out.
Yeah.
So then it wanted you to sign in. I don't know my password. And then I'm trying to change the password. And then it's sending me a code. And then I'm trying to put in the code and it still didn't let me in. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm locked out of my account forever. This is going to be a pain to get it back. And then I just went on X and realized that I wasn't the only one.
Let me issue some guidance on this. Why don't we just not bother with it for 2 hours?
That's what I like.
And
our reaction was very much different because I did the same thing and it logged me out and I said, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Me
I
too.
know.
I'm like, no
I
Facebook
was
for a while.
stressing
Who
out
cares?
over it. I was getting very frustrated. I was getting nervous. Yeah, I was. I was pissed.
Yeah, I think that this is a sign of the times when an outage on these social media platforms becomes national news, international news, because of all the people frustrated with not being able to continue on with their addiction to their phones.
It's true.
And, in a normal case, look, we have power outages all the time. We don't talk about those as like some sort of national emergency. But if you can't get on Facebook, oh, my goodness.
Chris, my friends, they could not share updated photos of their kids. Now, keep in mind, they just posted them yesterday, but they couldn't share even more updated ones immediately on Facebook and Instagram, and it just drove them nuts.
I did miss the latest cat videos.
Yeah,
but
that too.
It's, it's a terrible thing when you can't get on social media.
All right, let's get to this last story because this one really pisses me off.
Chalk one up for the lawyers. Less than half of the money collected under the now voided Hillsborough Transportation sales tax will be spent on transportation projects.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Under the state budget proposal unveiled for the upcoming year. The money was collected in 2019, and it has been under the control of the state legislature after the Florida Supreme Court struck down the tax, even as streets continue to be congested, roads, potholes, public transit services barely used. So $256 million of the $589 million in the pot would be spent on resurfacing projects and other transportation. $171 million goes to legal fees.
$171 million.
Yeah, that's what the lawyers get in this whole thing that was started by a county commissioner who filed a lawsuit.
Stacey White.
Went all the way to the state Supreme Court, who threw out the law. And now what do you have? You get half the money, gone for various reasons. $256 million goes to the roads. It's half of what they were supposed to get. Another $256 will be spent, or the remaining money other than the legal fees goes to the costs that went into the whole, process of reorganizing how they're going to spend it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like hundreds, that's like tens of millions of dollars too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, might as well just flush that money right down the toilet. So
$171 million in legal fees. That's just
I mean, these lawyers, these people in the legal profession, it's outrageous. Oh, Felix, I forgot you're still here. It's outrageous.
You see me over there.
One question I have is, why are they taking that out of the money that was collected from the tax? Why doesn't the legislature pay for that themselves?
Because they don't want to. They got pet projects. They got, Chris,
wild
they
turkey
have wild
research.
turkeys.
Well, you know what it looks like? It looks like a ruse. It looks like some kind of scam to just make money for the lawyers. This whole appeal process wasn't about any principles. It wasn't about, we don't want people to have to pay a tax for transportation. It was about, how can we divert this money into the hands of wasted legal fees, or hours, billable hours and all that kind of stuff.
It's just outrageous. Meanwhile, our infrastructure, our transportation disaster here in the Tampa Bay area continues as the region continues to grow, and we're just falling further and further behind. It's embarrassing at this point.
And people would be less likely to vote for a tax after this fiasco.
Yep. So great job, everyone. Great job all around. All right. Today's top stories with Chris Trenkmann. Chris, thanks so much.
Thank you.